Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be "Your Cheating Heart Will Tell on You." Well, that's not the whole. "Your Cheating Heart" is the title of it. There was I remember like during the '80s when I was growing up. I guess I'm fucking old. I'm about to be 45 in a few weeks. There used to be like one of those time-lapse compilations of like old country music, and there was this one called "Your Cheating Heart," something along those lines. So I got an email here from a woman, and she's been dating this guy for I guess about 5 months. And there's all these red flags there that the guy comes home, he's got like glitter on him and shit. He's got glitter in his beard, and she's not a girl who wears glitter. And so it's obviously ain't coming from her. And she notices some different scents around him that aren't her scents. And also some evidence in the bedroom. And of course she confronts him about it, and he gets irritated and denies it. And so she's basically asking me, like, what can I do to get him to admit the fact that he's been screwing around on me so we can communicate and have a better quality relationship? Well, obviously this particular guy is not a good candidate for somebody to have a relationship with. He's great for a fuck buddy, but that's it. Because bottom line is there's certain types of people in this world. Some people are great to have a relationship with, and they're great to be loyal. And then there's other people who are great fuck buddies, but they're the worst kind of people to have a relationship with. And there's other people that are very loyal, and they're a lot of fun to be around, but having a healthy, effortless relationship with them is fucking impossible because they are shitty, awful communicators. They won't tell you when they get upset and they get mad and they just tend to hold a grudge. You're like, what's the matter, baby? Tell me what's going on. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to have fun. And you get some shit like that. It's like, you can't have a relationship with somebody like that. They just hold everything in. They're not going to talk with you. And all they do, the more you try to pry it out of them or get them to talk about it and open up, the more pissed off they get. It's the way it is. Relationships are hard enough. You got to be with somebody that is a good communicator. And so you got to see things as they are. You got to see people for as they are. You got to see the situation as is, because we as human beings, we tend to rationalize things. We tend to see things as better than they are, and oftentimes we see things as worse than they are. But the key is that you want to see things as they are. You want to look at things for the reality as you see them. So before I get into her email, I got a quote that I wrote on this topic, and we're going to go through her email. And the quote says, "When it comes to interacting with other people, you should learn to trust your gut, feelings, and intuition." That's something I've always done since a teenager. I always went with what felt right. If it was a job and it didn't feel right anymore, I knew it was time to make a change. One of the things that Steve Jobs used to say, every day he used to get up, he's looking in the mirror, and he used to say this: "If today was going to be my last day on earth, would I want to do what I'm about to do today?" And he said when the answer was no too many days in a row, he knew he needed to make a change. Before I ever read that in his biography a couple years ago, that's something I always kind of, not that I was doing that every day, but when I was working a job, and it just was like, it went from being fun to go to the job to, oh God, I got to get up another day. I couldn't stick around. I knew it was time that I needed to change jobs and move my life in a new direction. Same thing with relationships or even friendships. Because I remember when I was in high school, it was like a family. We had a really tight-knit group of people that I hung out with. But as I got into my later teenage years and my early 20s, as I started to move towards my goals and pursue the things I wanted in life, I had a lot of friends that were great friends, and I loved them dearly, but they didn't have the same drive and the same ambition that I did. They just wanted to party, get drunk, or fuck around. Or instead of going for what they really wanted in life, they ended up getting a BS degree in sociology or something like that, because that was easier than pursuing what they wanted to do, or that was the only college that they could get into. And they get out of college and they get some fucking kind of bullshit job. And here I am, I'm a mover and a shaker, if you will, and I'm pursuing things that I want. And I got somebody was a good friend at the time, who all I want to talk about is how they feel sorry for themselves, or life's difficult, or things suck, or their job sucks. And I'm going, I love what I do. I'm really fucking enjoying the people I work for. Oh, you're so lucky, man. It's not a matter of luck. It's conscious choice. I chose this. Oh, yeah, but I'm not like you. And as you get older, you just kind of drift away from those kinds of people and start gravitating towards other like-minded people who think the same way. It's just part of life. And so the quote continues on. "We often tend to bullshit ourselves when we see and hear things that are not to our liking by convincing ourselves to not believe in what we see, hear, feel, smell, and are observing in our world. We also tend to have a hard time admitting our mistakes, shortcomings, flaws, or what we are doing, whom we are involved with, or how we are living our lives no longer serves us. Hence what I was just saying a second ago about friends. It's like sometimes you got to leave people behind it because otherwise they start to hold you back. Because as they see you becoming more successful, that's uncomfortable to them. You're like a giant mirror image of them of what a failure they are or how not successful they are. So they try to drag you down to their level, but usually by saying something negative. Oh, that'll never work out. It's a stupid idea. You're going to start your own business? Oh, come on. You're not an entrepreneur. You don't know anything about business. You don't do that. It's stupid. Sometimes believing and seeing are both wrong. Life is too short to spend it doing things that don't make you happy or spending it with people who are not adding value to your life. And unfortunately, that's what this woman is doing. She's involved with a guy who's really nothing more than a fuck buddy, a sex playmate, and she's trying to make him into relationship material, when in reality he's kind of like a fucking male gigolo, if you will. She says, "Hi, Corey. I stumbled onto some of your videos on YouTube here a couple of days ago, and I appreciate the candidness and frankness. I've only heard you coaching men, but I'm wondering if you would go out on a limb and give me your opinion on my situation." Absolutely. I'm going to do it, and I won't even have to go out on a limb for it because it's a great email. "I'm really upset and torn and heartbroken. But you know what? If I was a betting man, I'd be willing to bet that deep down you already kind of know what you should do. But it's like you don't want to admit it because, bottom line is nobody likes to be single after being in a relationship. Nobody likes to finally admit that the person they've been with for 6 months or a year or 2 years or 10 years, they shouldn't have been with any longer than a couple months. Because then you got to face your friends, your relatives, like, yeah, we broke up, yeah, we got divorced, or yeah, it didn't work out. It's not a lot of fun going through that. And then the part of being single again, because even if you're the one that ends a relationship, it's still going to fucking sting. It's still going to hurt. Breakups aren't easy to get over. And especially you start dating again, you go out with a few different people, and they're not as good as the last person that you were with. It's hard. It's like a swift kick to the balls. I've been seeing someone for almost 5 months, and within about 2 months, I started noticing red flags that would point to dishonesty and infidelity. And see, when you notice those kinds of things, you're going to say, you know what? This person's only good for a fuck buddy. Keep fucking them if the sex is great, but don't be loyal and be committed to them. I'm not saying be devious and lie to them, but if they want to be exclusive and you realize that they're cheating on you left and right, you say, you know what? I like the way things are. I like things being casual right now, and I'm not. I don't think we're compatible long term for a relationship, and it's obvious that you're dating other people, and so we can be sex playmates, we can be friends with benefits, but that's as far as it's going to go. And you got to be honest. And if they leave, they leave. And if they stay, they stay. But bottom line is you're going to keep looking for what it is that you really want. You can't fucking settle because you're just going to make yourself miserable in the process. Whenever I brought these suspicions to him, listen to what he does. He explodes and becomes defensive. Well, obviously he's got something to hide. I know guilty behavior in the body cues, and let me tell you, his body language is telling a different tale than what his mouth is. Well, honey, that should tell you all you need to know. It's not all hearsay, though. I've seen him with glitter on his face and in his beard on several occasions, and I'm not a glitter-wearing person. He guards his phone with his life, and he doesn't even keep it in the house at night anymore. That's pretty fucking guilty behavior. He locks it in his trunk overnight or hides it somewhere in the apartment. One time I did see a message, however, from a phone number at 5 a.m. asking if he was still up this late and had texted an address to him. Must be another fuck buddy of his. See, there are guys that are out there that there's nothing wrong with dating and having multiple partners if that's, or multiple girlfriends if you're a guy, or multiple boyfriends if you're a girl. If you like to just hang out, have fun, and hook up with a few or a handful of people. It's like I had a buddy, a guy used to work for me, was like that. He'd have 3 or 4 women, but he told a lie to all these women. You can just imagine what his life was like around the holidays, that he was exclusive with all of them. And he just told them what they wanted to hear, because to him it was easier to lie than to create any drama or potentially lose any of them if they store him off. And it's just, yeah, the thing, I remember I'd go to lunch and I was like, dude, it's like he's got 3 or 4 girls he's seeing. It's like he's telling each of them all kinds of different lies. to keep the facade going. It's like, how do you keep all those lies straight? Where you can just be honest. It's like some women will stick around. They'll be cool with it. And there's others will be like, no, that doesn't work for me. And that's cool too. But at least you're honest about it. And that's the rub. If you're going to be honest and say, hey, I'm dating other people and I'm not serious with anybody. I'm not ready to get serious yet. We just met. And they say, well, that doesn't work for me. Then, okay, well, give me a call to change your mind because I think you're amazing. But we've only known each other a few weeks. I'm just not ready to commit yet. Whatever happens to be, you got to speak from your heart. You got to speak your truth. Worst thing you can do is lie about it. And that's what this guy's doing. He's lying to everybody in his life. He's bullshitting himself. And look at all the stress it's giving him. He blows up. He gets all mad and angry and pissed off at her, which just fills his body full of toxins and acid when you do that. That'll make you sick. That'll give you a cold. I never brought it up to him, though, because that was my proof I needed from him. Oh, and the one time I came home and smelled another person's products on our bed, his pillow specifically, and I saw there was glitter on his pillow. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. He was definitely fucking somebody else. I could continue with all the little things that keep adding up, but I'll stop there. It comes down to this. I'm willing to walk away from it and not look back, and I know that this person is a good person. Come on, honey. With the exception of the fact that he's lying to you about it because he's a fucking pussy. He's a weak bitch. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. If he was really a strong man, he'd say, hey, this is who I am. I'm dating you, and I'm dating this girl and that girl, and, quite frankly, I'm not looking to be exclusive. I'm not in a place where I can be exclusive. And I'll understand if you don't want to see me anymore, but that would really hurt and it would suck, but I'd like to continue seeing you. She says, I'm still waiting to try and work toward establishing a healthy relationship. It will never happen with this guy. He's a fucking liar. You can't have a healthy relationship with someone like this. He's lying, he's devious, and he won't communicate what's really going on. It's impossible. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be in love with somebody and care about them, and they're a shitty fucking communicator, or they're fucking passive-aggressive, or they're constantly bringing drama in your life. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not your job to be somebody's therapist. It's not your job to fix that person. The worst thing you can do is project the potential. In other words, you project your fantasy onto someone and you fall in love with their potential instead of seeing them for who and what they really are. But I simply cannot do that if he's not willing to get honest about the dishonesty and the cheating. He's not. This is his nature. He's an adult now. He's been lying like this since he was a little boy. He learned this from his parents. He ain't going to change. Only thing you can do is accept him for what he is. He's a fuck buddy. And go date other people. And let him know. Say, hey, it's obvious you're dating somebody else. There's glitter here. Like, I don't care. Don't raise your voice. And if he keeps raising his voice, say, I'm going to go. Call me back when you're ready to be mature and act like an adult. And hang up on his ass. If he won't be loving and he won't communicate like an adult, don't deal with it. And just say, hey, we can continue to date. We can be friends with benefits, but that's as far as it's going to go because it's obvious you're incapable of real honesty and intimacy, and that's okay. But I want, if I were you, I'd say I want somebody to have an exclusive relationship with, and you just are not capable of that. I know what I am willing to give to the relationship and commit to the relationship. I feel like a crazy person because I keep beating my head up against the same roadblock, and I still haven't found a guy who is willing to commit to the same things. That's why you need to keep looking. As long as you stay involved with somebody like this, trying to change them, you're not going to get what you want. If deep down you don't feel you deserve to have what you want, or you don't believe it's possible for you, because remember, people will act consistently with who they view themselves to be, whether that view is accurate or not. What am I doing wrong that I can't communicate to them? There's nothing you're doing wrong, honey. What you are doing is that you're not seeing the situation for what it is. It's like Ayn Rand said. You can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And what you're doing is you're seeing the fact that he's a liar and he's a cheater, but you're ignoring that and just assuming that things are going to change or they're going to get better, and they're not. It's just the way it is. And it sucks, and I know it hurts, and I know you care about him, and I'm sure he's got a lot of great qualities that you love about him, but at the end of the day, if he's not willing to be honest, it's like being with somebody who's a shitty communicator, somebody who's passive-aggressive. If they don't see that they got a problem and they're not willing to work on it, then put a fork in it. That's as far as it's going to go. The longer you stay with him, hoping things are going to change, the longer it's going to take, the more he's going to get in the way of you meeting the guy that you really want. And as I write my email to you, it just becomes clear in my mind what I need to do. I'm not a doormat. I'm just so sick of dealing with baby boy guys. The problem is that you're staying, it's like everybody watching this video has stayed involved with someone, dated someone, or been in a relationship with one, or stayed hung up on somebody that they should have long ago let go of and moved on. I've done it. I've been guilty of it as well. It's like you come to the realization that the relationship is fucked and it's not going to work out. It's not pleasant, especially when you got many months or even years invested, or maybe you're even married. It sucks, but that's the way it is. It doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve the other person to stick around and delude yourself or blow sunshine up your own ass or theirs and thinking happy thoughts hoping it's going to change when it doesn't. Do you have a dose of reality check that you can offer? She says, I'm not a bad person. I'm sure you're a good woman. I'm actually a great person, and people have asked me why I'm still single. Well, it's because you put up with this kind of shit. You continue to date somebody for 5 months when 3 months ago you realized that it's fucked. He's just not capable of giving you what you want. Is this relationship salvageable? Nope. He's a fuck buddy, friends with benefits, and that is it. Or am I being outer limits? The Outer Limits. That was a great show. It was the 50s, 60s that show was on. I used to watch reruns of that when I was a kid growing up. I thought it was cool as hell. What would you do? Well, you want a relationship. You want somebody whose goals and values, in other words, they place a high value on being loyal and being in a relationship and communicating like an adult. That's the kind of person you need to be with, and he's just not that kind of person. So continue hanging out, having fun, and hooking up with him, but don't ever delude yourself for another second thinking that you can have a relationship. And just tell him, say, hey, it's obvious you're seeing somebody else. I've just seen way too much evidence over the last 5 months, and you can get all pissed off if you want and lie about it, but I'm not fucking stupid. But we can continue to hang out and date and hook up from time to time, but I just want you to know, because I'm an honest person, that I'm looking around because I want to meet a guy that I can settle down with, and that's what you need to tell him. And if he has a problem with it or he comes unglued, just fucking hang up on his ass. Just say, look, you're going to talk to me in a kind, respectful manner, or we're not going to speak. That's the deal. That's my line in the sand. You need to be kind, loving, respectful. Be grateful that I'm willing to give you another chance. And if that's not what you want, then just say, hey, arrivederci, jackass, or hasta la vista, baby. I'm fucking out of here, and I don't want to see your fucking sorry ass again. Totally up to you, but the bottom line is he's not relationship material. And that's the way it is. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the Products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I shall talk to you soon.